The Galactic Council had been watching Earth for decades, their surveillance drones cataloging every missile test, every satellite launch, every fumbling attempt at interstellar communication. To the ancient civilizations that comprised the Council, the ethereal Vexathari, the crystalline Zephyrians, and the hive-minded Kalari, humanity appeared to be nothing more than another primitive species barely capable of escaping their own gravity well. Admiral Kethvar of the Vexathari fleet studied the holographic display floating before him, his translucent form rippling with what his species considered amusement. These humans have finally managed to cobble together something they call a warship, he transmitted to his fellow commanders through the Council's neural link. Shall we demonstrate why no species has challenged our authority for 3 millennia? The vessel in question hung in the void between Earth and Mars, an ungainly construction of steel and ceramic plating that looked more like an industrial station than a proper warship. The humans had christened it the UES Defiance, Earth's first attempt at a ship capable of interstellar warfare. Intelligence reports suggested it carried primitive nuclear weapons and kinetic projectiles, laughably obsolete technology compared to the Council's plasma cannons and gravitational disruptors. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Defiance, her weathered hands gripping the command console as proximity alarms shrieked throughout the ship. The 3 Council vessels had materialized from their dimensional fold drives with the characteristic shimmer of advanced technology, their sleek forms dwarfing her ship like predators surrounding wounded prey. "Ma'am, we're receiving a transmission on all frequencies," reported Lieutenant Commander Park from the communications station. "Put it through." The voice that filled the bridge carried the cold authority of absolute power. "Primitive humans, you have violated the quarantine decree by constructing weapons of war. Your vessel will be destroyed as an example to your species. You have 60 seconds to abandon ship." Chen's jaw tightened. She had spent 5 years convincing Earth's fractured governments to pool their resources for this moment. 5 years preparing humanity's response to the beings who had kept them trapped in their own solar system. The Council's benevolent protection had prevented human expansion while they strip-mined asteroid belts and established monitoring stations throughout the system. "All hands, this is the captain," she announced over the ship's intercom. "Today we show these self-appointed guardians that humanity doesn't kneel." The Vexathari flagship fired first, a lance of superheated plasma that should have vaporized the Defiance's crude armor plating. Instead, the beam struck something invisible and dispersed harmlessly in all directions, creating a spectacular light show that illuminated the human vessel's true nature. Admiral Kethavar's form solidified in shock. "Impossible. They've erected energy shields. Our intelligence indicated they barely understood fusion technology." What the Council hadn't detected were the massive electromagnetic field generators hidden within the Defiance's industrial exterior. Technology reverse-engineered from wreckage recovered from a Council patrol ship that had crashed on Earth's moon decades earlier. While the aliens had assumed humans would simply copy their weapons, humanity had done something typically human. They had improved upon alien technology with their own innovations. The Defiance's response was swift and devastating. Instead of conventional weapons, the ship launched what appeared to be simple metal cylinders, each one no larger than a telephone pole. The Council commanders barely registered the primitive projectiles before they struck. The cylinders weren't weapons in any traditional sense. They were carriers, each one containing thousands of self-replicating nanobots programmed with a single directive: consume and replicate using any available matter. The technology was humanity's greatest secret, developed in hidden laboratories beneath the Earth's surface, using principles derived from their planet's most efficient predator, viruses. Within minutes, the Vexathari flagship began to literally dissolve from the inside out as the nanobots consumed its hull plating to create more of themselves. The ship's own defense systems accelerated the process, trying to flood compromised sections with plasma energy that only provided more material for the nanobots to convert. "By the void," transmitted Kethvar as his ship's structural integrity collapsed around him. "What manner of weapon is this?" The remaining Council vessels attempted to retreat, but the Defiance had anticipated this. The human ship's true purpose wasn't to destroy enemy vessels, it was to capture their technology. Tractor beam projectors, salvaged and modified from multiple Council wrecks, locked onto the fleeing ships with magnetic fields that no alien engineer had thought to defend against. Captain Chen watched with grim satisfaction as boarding pods launched from the Defiance's hull. Each pod contained a team of human Marines equipped with weapons specifically designed to counter Council defenses. Where alien species relied on energy-based personal protection, humans had developed projectile weapons that used the aliens' own technology against them. Where Council warriors expected honor and formal combat, they found guerrilla tactics and improvised explosives. Within hours, 2 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy had been captured by what the Council had dismissed as primitives. The third ship, the Kalari Hive vessel, managed to escape, but not before its collective consciousness experienced something it had never felt before: fear. As the Defiance began its journey back to Earth, its cargo holds filled with alien technology, and prisoners, Captain Chen composed her report to Earth Command. The message was simple but carried implications that would reshape humanity's place in the galaxy. Mission accomplished. The children are ready to leave the playground. The Galactic Council would soon learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their refusal to accept limitations imposed by others. While ancient civilizations had grown complacent in their superiority, humans had spent their quarantine years preparing for the day they would take their place among the stars. Earth's first Stardestroyer had done more than destroy ships. It had shattered the illusion of alien supremacy and announced humanity's arrival as a force that would no longer be contained or controlled. The age of human expansion had begun.